I was like, I'm going to observe today. Do what you know. Stuff. Brain like cannot function, right? I try to say, hi. Always. Good. Would you like me to have tequila? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I want to be in the way. It was kind of. That's. Other, and you're gonna use it. We're gonna use it first. I was thinking about like as soon as it's like. It just means a little. Yes, yeah. Yeah. Now we have 12 thoughts. all of ours.
Week 9, surviving. Barely. We're getting there. Everyone's doing okay. Let's check in on our kids. How the twins?
Oh,
No. Yeah. It's like.
Huh?
Um, we had to go on a playground. And I wanted to say, call because we're right in the phone, right. And absolutely, you know, I see the very, so Charlie is, standing on top of the monkey bars, like, in there, both these, one foot on one leg, one foot on the other. Probably and needs to have this before. I was thinking, guys, is it companies like down on the kind of so it's mulch to the front. I was like, please look down and you not cooperating. So standing up there. Well, kindergartner is not on the bars and I know that. Hit his foot off. Fell off. So, yeah, because as well as
oh,
like at least 15 times. I went over.
Well, it was kind of a good week last week, and now this week
Yeah.
is like.
So that I went 5 months where I was completely down and tried to kindergarten. He's going on with this weight. And there was just all the kids were going. Right. It was.
That's not the positive report.
oh,
About our playground friend. How's she doing?
Good now. I think now I'm done with second grade. So today they were fighting with the ball and the ball was getting one fighting and each other. So
Yeah. Work on the regulatory skills, helping them think about how to express their emotions in non-physical ways, right? All the things that we will continue to work on. Early childhood. How's everyone else? Doing okay?
mm,
You find the Well, looks like the world has this told us that's how it's gonna be. It's gonna be so much better, probably.
Mhm.
I told like my friend and the inside show. She's so good.
Yeah.
So
You're making fun.
and I remember friends that I also remember.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Awesome. All right, well, we're gonna get started. We have a special guest today, Dr. Amina Chaudhry is in the back here. So she's gonna just hang out with us today and answer our thoughts. Be very engaged. Yeah, do your normal thing. All right, so today we're going to talk about comprehensive curriculum planning. Last week we kind of touched on it a little bit at the end of class, and so we're really going to start jumping into those domains this week and next week. Maybe an additional week. We'll see how far we kind of get because there's a lot to talk about. We might have to a little bit, but we're going to review the curriculum domains, 4 of them today. We're going to think about project approach and how we can use project approach to build integrated unit plans. And we're going to do a STEM challenge, which is what all this stuff is up here on the front. So lots to do today. So let's get to it. So here's your learning objectives. So you can read through all those on your own as usual. So what do we remember about comprehensive curriculum planning, either from reading or from our brief chat about it last week? Dig in there. Dig in those folders in your mind.
That's how about the challenge.
Sure, so it could be, right, thinking about whole child approach and thinking about all the various developmental domains, but also kind of curricular domains and thinking about content areas, concepts, right? So let's see. Right, so I think we looked at this briefly last week, right? So really thinking about whole child approach when we're thinking about planning activities, thinking about the integration of all of these domains. You'll do this with your unit plan right at the end of the semester. So we'll kind of work through each one individually here in class. So we'll do 4 today, and then we'll probably do 4 next week too. We'll just make sure that we're especially the cognitive and language domains. I just want to make sure that we're really emphasizing those, since you're teaching K-2, you obviously are going to be really focused on content areas and subject matter that's related to math, science, yeah, English language arts. So we'll focus on those. So, right, so these are the domains. So hopefully this looks familiar. We'll walk through a few of them and then we'll do some activities. All right, so the first one we'll focus on today is aesthetic. Thoughts? What comes to mind? And there's some things there, right? But when we think about planning activities, lessons, curricula, units that might incorporate these things, an aesthetic activity, what might that look like?
Art projects and stuff from nature,
Yes, yeah.
not only provide like and everybody, but just from
Yeah, so right, I think it's right, it's about appreciation of nature and beauty and aesthetic things, right? Thinking about not just the creation and production of art or dance or drama or music, but also thinking about building kind of a love and appreciation for those things too. So, right, discovering and building awareness, really exposing children to different kinds of things, so different kinds of art forms. And you could do that in lots of ways, right? Books, we can do that through field trips, right? We could do it through, I think about even virtual, like museum field trips, like art museums, they're all doing, right, these virtual kind of trips. So you can do things like that. This evaluation of aesthetic, right? Thinking about what we like and don't like, and appreciate about different art forms. So here, right, if we're thinking about concepts and content, right, we're thinking about music, dance, art, drama,
which in preschool, you will likely, if you're teaching a pre-K classroom, you're likely gonna incorporate a lot of these things. If you're teaching K-2, you might have departmentalized teachers, right, that are teaching those subjects, but you should still be thinking about how we're integrating these kinds of ideas into other lessons. Since obviously they're very child-centered, right? How about affective? Thoughts, reflections on this domain? What this might look like incorporated into lessons, activities?
And circle time, where the toddler, you have to check out the book and talk about emotion. So you have to do stuff toward also to show that
Right, so yeah, thinking about, right, SEL time, so you'll likely have a particular curriculum where you're really focused on social emotional learning in the classroom. Yeah, and it might be, right, thinking, in the morning you talk about how you're feeling, right, and you have a feeling chart. Yeah, so you're incorporating those into maybe non-curricular times of your day, but right, your morning meeting, your circle time, transitional time. Right, but we're really thinking about, I mean, even like cooperation and, right, so this affective domain to me really also aligns well with the social domain and thinking about building relationships and how we're building and learning empathy, along with obviously like regulatory skills and all of that. All right, how about the cognitive domain? Thoughts, reflections. How do you think about these things in the classroom when we're planning a lesson? What do we do that helps us develop knowledge, gain new learning, kinds of things that we do to help build metacognitive skills, right? Thinking about our thinking, really reflecting on how we learn. What do you think? Content areas.
part of it. So this is like a nice this like the it's learning best or how to teach how to learn best, like try to get multiple ways.
Sure, but yeah, I mean, you could, right, and you could be incorporating EL, right, thinking about the learning, and we're thinking about how we're focused on some of these particular content areas, maybe. Right, so cognitive domain is obviously key ideas right here, thinking about, obviously brain development, which we're going to be thinking about in early childhood a lot, so there's a lot still happening in the development of the brain. We're thinking about theoretical ideas of learning and how we're framing our lessons and our activities and the foundations for how we're really going to support learning. So maybe we're thinking about Vygotsky and scaffolding, right? And how are we going to create those and embed those ideas into our planning when we're doing our lessons, right? So when you write your lesson plans for class, you're going to be thinking about right, so thinking about conceptual knowledge versus procedural knowledge. We really want children to think about concepts really deeply and not just the steps in which we solve the problem, right? And you'll talk more about those ideas, particularly when you take 355 with me, but right, this is just a kind of, we're just dipping our toe into these ideas, but conceptual knowledge is going to be really important. We really want to focus on that. It's deep learning. Right, so metacognition, executive functioning. So you learned all about these, right? Hopefully in your child development classes. But so these key ideas are obviously then related to the way we're teaching particular content areas, right? So math, science, STEM. So we'll focus on cognition today and thinking about STEM learning. World language. So this is the fourth one, the last one we'll kind of focus on today. We'll come back to the last two. What do we think here? Reflections, thoughts? How do we teach this language domain? What does that look like? Journals. Okay, can you say more?
So, for example, children will be able to, um, I don't know, after like the project or class, they will be able to like write a few sentences about what they did, what they learned, or just like write something or draw.
Right, so this, right, a great way is to integrate language domain into some other content areas, and thinking about using journals, right, science journals or math journals to really reflect on or take notes or make drawings or sketches, right, or writing stories, illustrating stories. What else? Yeah, so building fine motor skills and really building like letter recognition and practicing writing, so tracing letters, maybe even using it like without a pencil and doing it just like fingers and sand, right? So yeah, so all of these kind of reading, writing, language, right, oral language, thinking about fine motor development and pulling that in, which is part of the physical domain, which we'll talk about next week, right? So integrating those ideas into thinking about the language domain. Anything else? Listening and speaking. So this is actually, right, something that you'll be assessing as an educator. You'll be in the classroom thinking about how well children are able to listen and focus and articulate the way they're feeling, or articulate stories. So not just the reading and writing piece, right, but really thinking about world language. Okay, since you all are so chatty today, we'll just stop this part. And we'll let you chat in some small groups. All right, so we're gonna dive more deeply into each of these 4 domains. So they're around the classroom. There's a few sheets. So Dulce has one, and there's one over here, and there's one over here, there's one there. So we're gonna form 4 groups, and we're gonna just rotate around to each of these little stations. I guess it's an underwhelming station. It's just a piece of paper, but you will make it fun. And so we're going to use a shared document, which I'll show you in a moment, to review the goals of each of the domains. So, right, each domain that we talk about has a list of goals. Some have, 15, and some have pages. So you'll review those with your groups. Then you'll select just one of the goals there, and then you'll align those goals with Illinois learning standards. So, right, if pre-K, if you want to do a pre-K lesson, we're using Illinois early learning standards. If we want to do K-2, we're using Common Core, next generation science standards, right? So that's all linked there. The standards are linked, so you can access them all. You'll write a learning objective aligned with the goal that you've chosen for each one, and then you'll just think of an activity, right? That it can be an activity for each domain, or it can be an integrated activity. So it can be something that might encompass all of them. So before I show you the document, I'll just show you. So this is one that I created. So the goal I took from the aesthetic domain, right? And so the goal here says use a variety of materials, tools, techniques, and processes in the arts. So I aligned it with the visual art standards, which is here, right? Through experimentation, build skills in various media and approaches to art making. My objective is that students will create mixed media art using, right, a variety of materials. And so then the activity is that they're going to make this mixed media art project based on, right, there are several books you could use that are related to this idea of alphabet soup, right? So think of the goal to really, right, so go back to backward design when we talked about that, and thinking about the goals as kind of the big, right, the big kind of desired result. What's that big takeaway that you're hoping to achieve as part of your lesson or event, and then write a line throughout. Is that clear? Are we good? Yeah? Yes? We're here, and we're here, and we're like, hi, this one. Okay, all right. Okay, so let me just show you this shared document. Yeah. Okay, so that's, yeah, so it's linked in the slide. So just one person per group needs to, basically be the scribe for everyone. Great, I see many of you are in there. So once you form your groups, you can add your names. There's 4 groups. So there's group 1, group 2, right, group 3. So you just pick yours. And then each domain has its own slide. So just like you saw in my example, exactly the same layout. And then you can just, add to that. And then we'll just use this when we come back to share out with everyone and reflect on what we took away. Yes? Sound good? Okay, so let's do 4 groups. We're missing 2 folks today, so I was thinking 4 groups of 3, but we'll make it work. So yeah, let's get up. Stand up. Stretch. Stretch out. Get pumped up. Do it. So yeah, there's one up here. Someone wants to start up here. There's one over there. There's one here. So if a couple of people want to come up here. Okay, we need 4. Can maybe one, yeah, you'll be a group, and then does someone want to come over here? A group of 2, maybe, if Mandy? Yeah, anyone? Doesn't have to work on yourself. Can someone from that group come over here? Yeah, okay. Thank you. Perfect, awesome. All right, so you'll need your computer, so somebody can describe and then have your names to the side, and I'll come around and make sure everyone's clear on the plan, what needs to happen, okay? Let's switch to the third. It'd be nice if we could come back there. Okay, yeah. Just add your name to text in the slides. Yeah. What group are you all? Group 4 you're adding this to? What did you add yours to for? I have it again. Okay.
The second one? Okay. Yeah, you can type that.
Is it second?
I think you can type yours and I type mine. Okay. This is only my number. Is your paper the aesthetic domain too? Is your paper aesthetic domain too? No. Okay. Oh, okay. They're a different domain.
Yeah.
We choose one of them.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. All right. Are you doing equal? Yeah, okay, yeah, yeah, that looks like you're in the right place, so just look for the. You can just, when we go around. How's it going, Miss? Where are you? Aesthetic domain? Okay. Did you pick a goal?
Not yet.
Okay. And then, yeah, so for the standards, for this one, we're gonna use, obviously, right? Merge. What grades are you? School or kindergarten or? So you can look at the standards. So this is gonna be cleaned up to this one, which is fine. So you went through it. Okay, so that's good. All right, sorry, carry on. Good.
Do you find one? Maybe 9. Number 9, the communication one.
Yeah, there's options to go, yeah, for like kindergarten, yeah. So let's maybe take like 5 more minutes. So this is the first one, so maybe we can go a little bit longer. Get it going. Anyone need a snack? Need me to deliver some snacks around? Yeah. Snacks. I don't want to disrupt your work. I'll come and deliver. I'll deliver snacks. It's really sweet. Alright. Maybe you just need a little brain fuel to really get you going. Nothing like a bag of Doritos or some fire hot Cheetos. Yeah. They're trying to help me naturally.
This is fine.
Is it the first time I brought Doritos? Oh, okay. I have like a whole snack stash in my office. So I do. It's all stuff I know. It's. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. So use the goals that are on the paper, right? So those are the curriculum goals. And then you'll use that as your jumping off point to think about your alignment with standard, objective. Okay.
Which goals are goals?
Okay, what goal are you?
Number 9.
Okay, great. Okay.
I don't know, seems like it. Let me see that one. Well, would it be the red one? Responding? The red one?
We're trying to.
One of the red ones, maybe?
It's on.
It must be one of the red ones.
How is that alarm? Things that they describe like things they've went through with the family. It's an easier way to express emotions under another view. If that. No. Yeah.
We'll see though. If you feel confident. Yeah. Okay. How's it going over here? You close?
Still finding,
Okay.
standard.
That's true.
All right, so we'll take another minute and then we'll rotate. If you're still working on your other ones, then maybe we'll just do a quick like few minutes at the end to wrap up the ones you're working on. So yeah, okay, awesome. Yeah, you guys can flip flop if you're done. Awesome, perfect, great job. I'm gonna take this one. You have your goal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Next, and then you guys can focus on this one next, okay?
Yeah, that presenting was the standard 6. Individual arts.
Oh, that could be sensitivity.
It's on page 8. That'll put with that little purple one.
All right, so we'll take another 5 minutes. or So in this for our next one.
Let's see the work for me. That's the missing. Yeah, the museum and stuff. Kind of not sure if we found one. It's the uh sixth standard presenting.
Okay, what does it say?
Conveying meaning through the presentation of artistic work.
Yeah, I think so, because if your goal was about communication, right? So that makes sense as a standard. And it's what grade, kindergarten?
I think so.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Just copy that one over.
Yeah, it's just like. And the grade. Because.
Yeah, we'll do that.
And they can maybe make a list with like.
Like a scavenger hunt? Yes, maybe something with answer.
Yeah. But I don't think that word is right. Yeah. Okay. Okay. When I go back. I'll probably like go back and look at them. I just want to make sure we're all getting what's going on. And we can, maybe we can next week too, like. Do some more review.
Right. Work smarter, not harder. Good job. Moving on to the next one. Yeah, okay. Right, so let's take like 2 more minutes for this one and then we'll switch again. And yeah, don't worry if you're not getting it. We're gonna work on this still some more next week too, because we're gonna add 2 more domains. So if we have missed anything, we can just go back to and review. So this is right? This is a good one for that was your presentation. So this is like a great mix of that particular curriculum model, right? Because it's not really a curriculum, it's more of like a integrated approach to ensuring that you're teaching in a culturally responsive way, right? So yeah, so this is that would be good. Got it? Yes.
Alright.
Did you find?
You guys will stay sedentary.
Okay, there's the next one.
No, we're just looking for the. Okay, all right, so yeah,
Five,
YouTube.
page 5. Oh, this one, the earlier one. Oh yeah, that is kind of. It's that earlier what is this preschool?
No. Because there's.
You said kindergarten? We're not sure. Is it early elementary? What age? Is it?
Mm-hmm, yep, so this is reading the SEL standards, yeah, so just use the early elementary.
Like is it kindergarten or?
Yeah, so I don't know if they have it split up by,
Is this a early, late, middle?
yeah, I'll just do. You can look at the Illinois early learning standards, they have more specific SEL ones, but just see what you can find there. Maybe that might work.
This one I can't copy. Can you try to type it on here? This.
No. Sorry, that's okay.
Yeah, like how I did the other one. I will just highlight in both. Yeah. Oh, this has so many. Is there a math? Math? Is this all the math? That's maybe this is the science stuff. There's 15 in science.
Yeah, that's what it is, yeah. Okay. There's the leaves. Yeah. All right, so we'll take a few more minutes. Then move to the next one.
What are you all thinking?
The science one.
Science, you have a goal.
Nothing.
Is there? Oh, it is a ladybug. It's good luck.
Mhm.
Man, you have like that sweet blood or something. It's like my husband always gets bit up so bad by everything. Mosquitoes, little gnats outside. Oh my gosh, it's so bad. Okay. Want to stick with kindergarten? Okay. Yeah, so we're gonna look at next generation science standards. But this is like push-pull activities, right? So like cars, motion, like thinking about like something go fast, right? Or thinking about it. Weight and force. Or you can just think about process. So like, so with the things we're gonna do later, the activities, we're really thinking about these science and engineering practices. Which are like the process pieces, right? So how you're doing, so thinking about like applying the scientific and employee process. So thinking about like an observation, right? Inferences, those kinds of things. Yeah. Maybe it's something there. You can use those too. Doesn't just have to be those up there. You can use them.
That motion one is this one, right? The motion. That's the motion. That one, number 10. That's like the first little thing you were looking at. Does it say? Hmm. That one have two little standard. I think we look for both. A and C. No. Because that little A one is these two up on top, and those are the white ones. These these up here for that little standard. These are what the first one is. This what?
All right, so let's take 5 minutes to wrap up what we have, and then we'll come back and we'll share out, and then we will, we'll regroup on those next week too. So don't worry if you didn't finish. We'll have time next week. So at 5:10, we'll come back together. Share what we've got.
Maybe this definitely will stay. Yeah. That one up this one.
So go to just go to the visual. Or go to the arts.
Ones that are, I don't know if they all have pre-K, but visual arts. We got 2 more minutes.
Yeah.
Which? You have yours, right? Yeah, so 2 more minutes, get as far as you can, no pressure, come back. Next week, we'll wrap this. up. All right, 1 more minute, so wrap up your thought. All right. Wrap up your typing and your thought. And then come back. Give yourself a note if you need to. Come back for next week. We'll finish up this document together. Right. So let's just go through each one and those who didn't get to all of them, that's fine. We'll kind of informally reflect and go through them today, and then next week we can look at them once we complete all of the domains. So aesthetic. What did you all, how was that? This is the hardest one for you all. Okay. Coral, you have some.
Our goal is recognize that music, dance, drama, and visual art are means of communication,
Okay.
and our standard is combine our motor movement with and without the use of equipment. And our objective is students will be able to demonstrate physical movement, song being technical difficult.
Okay.
And the activity is song.
All right. What do people think about that one? You all used a similar.
It's the same goal, but
Yeah.
the standard is different.
Okay, what did you all use for your standard?
It was explain what an art museum is and distinguish how an art museum is different from other buildings.
Okay. Okay. Did anyone else get to that one? Okay.
Objects for personal portfolio and display take that and see what the
Right. Yeah, so already I see and hear lots of integrated domains, right? So we have oral language, right? When we're thinking about aesthetic, we've got physical, right? A lot of gross motor activity and dancing. You all you can share us. All right, so hopefully now you're starting to see the integration of the domains too, that it's not just focused on this activity for this particular domain, but that there's a lot of other domains being integrated into just each one. All right, so how about language? Like that. You wanna Sure, yeah.
Our goal was research specific. Okay. Teacher assistants. Who's advocates to describe our
Yeah. I forgot that.
preschool students will match advocates to corresponding pictures of teacher assistants. It was flashcard, match the flashcards. Flashcard and match. Not so.
It's okay.
They matched the flashcards, the correct active, and it was like, it was like basic ones, because they're only preschool, so it's like
Right.
old, young, old. And it would be done in like small groups and corrected, understand what we're responding with.
Okay. Thoughts, others? Did you all have them, Belinda? Did you-
With something and support, ask and answer questions about the details in the text. So after reading the book, students would ask and answer questions about key details amongst peers, but during circle time. So like trying to find the teacher. So after reading, students will ask questions about it and they will answer the question.
Others? Thoughts? How did we feel about working through this? So aligning the goals, thinking about the standards, objectives. So we've been doing that, right, throughout the class, thinking about our own lessons and aligning. How's it feel looking through those standards? We're feeling like we can read them all. Next generation science standards, I got it. Solid, easy. We'll look at those more in my process, but and more today. But all right, what about see, cognitive or affective? Share those.
Small, large, long, to describe quantity, quality, and related. So standard is the usual vocabulary, then so for teaching students will describe two objects. So our two help students build up towers right next to each other. So students will be vocabulary to describe the stuff. That is shorter than.
But, oh, great.
Yeah.
Oh, sure, yeah.
The reason for learning satisfying, my personal, that's something like the one who does.
Okay.
So then it's like identify feelings and perspectives of others. Like more traditionally, it's the book that talks about emotions.
Sure.
But would it be possible to put like during playtime, like sharing, like that type of thing? Like would that be?
So like during that, this is something you might observe as they're playing.
Yeah. So like,
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, I think that there will be instructional time maybe, or time where you're thinking about, talking about, thinking about these goals and objectives in a really intentional, planned way, but that your hope is that you'll then see it, right? You'll observe it during play and that they'll be able to model it after they've learned it. So is that how you're thinking about it?
yeah, but like, so like, for the assignment we have to next, like, would you be able to put like that type of as an objective, like, when
Yeah, if you can measure it, right, through some kind of assessment, then you can make it an objective. Right, so it can be a formative assessment or some kind of kind of authentic assessment that you're just kind of checking on that, right? So yeah, I mean, that's. All right. All right, well, we'll come back to this because we're gonna add more domains next week, so we'll come back and we'll add those. We can work on the ones that we've missed. Hopefully this is helping you again practice objective writing, right? Thinking about, right, the A, B, C, D, right, model of how we do that. Thinking about standards, and alignment, because alignment is key, right? Alignment, thinking really intentionally about all the things that we're doing. All right. Okay, so we're gonna transition and think about sort of my favorite things is the project approach. Who has heard of the project approach? Olivia? Others? No, great, okay, then this will be a fun introduction and exploration to the project approach. And so the Lillian Katz, one of the authors here, is one of the founding champion of project approach, and it's really a child-centered approach to thinking about how we use children's questions or their interests to build curriculum and activities and lessons around their ideas. It's a really fun, integrated approach. It's a little more work for us as teachers to think about these pieces like we were just thinking about, right? The objectives, the standard alignment, all of those things, but it's a much more developmentally appropriate approach. It's a much more child-centered approach. And so we're gonna dive in, use this as a way to think about our unit plan. How many of you have seen like curriculum webs or concept webs? Maybe, okay, that's fine. We're gonna talk about these here. So this is just an example, right, of a teacher using project approach so that their children were really interested in bikes. And so they built this web around different concepts and ideas related to bikes, right, building off of those. And then here, they started to think about standard alignment and how we can align some of these ideas that are coming from discussion with our classrooms, with our students, and then build standard aligned activities. And so we're going to go off of my alphabet soup idea because I'm feeling really hungry and I really feel like we need to have a dinner party. We should plan a dinner party for our pretend class. So what we're going to do is build a web. So our big theme is dinner party or so how do we make this into activities, lessons that are meaningful? I want everyone to stand up and grab a marker and add to our web. No right or wrong answers here. We're just thinking about how we take this theme of a party or a dinner party and start to build and align curriculum unit. So everyone stand up. I'm really making a move today. Get up, grab a marker. What can we do? Come on up, we're all friends here. Eat. Need to eat. Yeah. And what else? To socialize. Share. You can add more than one thing. We need a drink. Juice. We need to drink juice boxes. Picture of water. And water. For us, maybe water and
If
juices
they
mixed
need,
with
they
other
need
things.
drink. They choke on it.
The environment. Gonna be outside. What is the, yeah. Yeah, we need stuff. Supplies. Awesome. Get those veggies. Healthy. It's gonna keep us healthy with our veggies. It's towards the basement. It burns the whole house. Okay, so, all right, what do we have here? How do we take this now and extract from it the content that we're gonna teach, aligning it to the curriculum, standards, create objectives? How might we do this?
But when I was,
Vibing here, we're just going.
when I was in
Figuring it
preschool,
out.
we had a class, dinner party for Thanksgiving,
Okay.
and we learned. So, yeah, so. But it's,
Right.
2008.
Right.
But the computers, they talked about. There's a lot of sharing the past, the food. I think like,
Right. So there could be like some kind of traditions to different something. So here. I'm just gonna in a different marker. Start to think about maybe some of the concepts, right? How we can build objectives, other ways to think about standards. So the traditions, maybe?
bring in part of the supplies, so somebody got to bring forth.
Okay. Right, so, positions and. So. So there's like some unity. Collaboration. Nutrition. Thinking about nutrition. So I'm thinking two things like, we need a menu maybe, right? So like, what are we gonna eat? And so menus would require us to do what? Read and write and, right? So reading menus. Clothing, okay, where would that go? Where, maybe up here? Like, it depends on what, like, where we're gonna have our. Yeah. So this has me thinking too about like, what are we gonna do? We're just gonna like hang out, and eat, or activities, right?
Entertainment.
Yeah, entertainment, right? So like, what are the things we're gonna do with entertainment? What might this incorporate? What domain? So physical, coming to our party? How do we get them here? Invitations, right? Supply. So some more from like ELA or something like. So this is fun with the stuff. Right, so hopefully you're starting to see how we can take a theme that is seemingly not a content thing and start to build, right, ways to integrate content, and then our work is to build a standard alignment. Think about what's appropriate for the age that we're in, and right, building that all together. So one way to help us think about this, I'm gonna pass it around. So I just like I don't know. I didn't want to read. Just take one and pass it around. So they're like on this one. So one way that we might take this like crazy web and turn it into something that is more teacher friendly, and helps us think about actually designing a curriculum for a unit. Is through this, so you can access this document to make a copy of it. QR code and your a link, or you just access it in the plot. Right, so then you'll think about, all right, we're doing a dinner party. We need to create a menu, and we want to think about nutrition or something, right? So like, where do we put this here on our domain curriculum planning document? How we write the objectives for that, it's the standards that are aligned to that, right? What does this activity look like? So some aesthetic, ELA activity where we're thinking about integrating writing, creativity, right? Making some beautifully designed menu. It matches our invitations, right? So this is our document that we will use for some of these activities. Any questions about this? Does this make sense? How we would use something like the project approach to start to build, right? So this is essentially like your unit plans, right? So you're going to have your theme, right? And then you're going to build out the connections to the curriculum domain. So think about it in this way. If you want to build this kind of web and then add your curriculum domain, or the themes of the curriculum domain, and you think about how, right, what are the activities that align. And then you can use this document too. Okay, so we're gonna keep practicing with these now and tomorrow or next week. But we're gonna transition now to think about STEM, right? So some of you were looking at the next generation science standards, thinking about science for the cognitive domain. And so switch it up and stuff these fun things up here. Why do we care about STEM? Why does it matter? Why do we want to teach STEM? Or even STEAM, right? How many of us have heard of STEAM? Science, technology, engineering, art, and math, right? So there's the Early Childhood STEM Working Group, which is actually the Sierra in Chicago, University of Chicago, and the Erickson Institute have done a lot of work in this area, thinking about STEM experiences and just the importance of them and helping children think about problem solving, critical thinking. So all the things you think of scientist stuff, right? Young children are learning these things through STEM. It's a great content area to integrate other subjects and domain into your curriculum domain. And so we want to teach STEM. So what we're going to do is we're gonna have, well, just three groups this time. There are 3 STEM challenges that relate to our dinner party. So we're gonna have our dinner outside, but it's 80 degrees and sunny in October. We didn't expect that, so we need to build some shade. It's too hot and our guests will melt, right? So one group is gonna build a shade structure. Our oven is broken. How will we cook? How will our guests warm up their food? We need to build a solar oven to help warm up food or make s'mores later, you know? Well, our guest just said, well, I'm gonna bring a friend. And we're cool with that. We're like, let's just bring, we want more people. We're building a bigger, longer table, right? But now we have no room, so we need to build a table that's going to help us have more guests, a lot more guests. So we're gonna do these 3 set, not each of us will each pick one. Or I'll just. And you can come and get your supplies up here. You can use your documents that you have, so these sheets here, you can copy the one to just think about, right? As you're kind of building, thinking about what are your objectives? What are the standards that might align with this type of activity? And then you're going to use what's called the engineer design process, right? Which again, we'll talk about more when we talk about next semester. Right, but you're going to do a sketch of what you think this might look like, your idea. You're going to build your prototype, and we'll come back and share, and we'll maybe test them out. Maybe I was gonna bring up some more stuff, but then I realized I didn't have any crackers. But I did bring some marshmallows and some Hershey's. So, but I don't know if I'll find it put it outside. Maybe I'll take it home, or maybe one of you can take it home and test it out the oven. Whoever gets it. All right, so is that clear? What we're doing here? Yes. Okay. So maybe just to make this fair, I'm just gonna like take each of these and just kind of like do like one of these, and then we'll just everyone can just like pick it. Right, and then we'll have, I don't know, I'm not sure how the groups worked the last time. I know there was kind of 3 groups forming. So maybe this one and then 3 others. All right. Well, all right, so yeah, so form your groups if you want to read with that group, you know you were working. All right. So you can come up and get your supplies. So this is a solar oven. I brought 2, so let's be safe. I brought a little slicer thing. I bought 2 boxes. So your table? Yes. Yeah, so your index card and yeah, that. And there's tape and glue and scissors and construction paper up here too, shared supplies if anyone needs them. Yeah, think about what would an objective be here. Yeah. All right, I'll come around and make sure everyone knows what's happening. You might have to Re-tape and cut those boxes. So, but you decide. In the slide, there's some links to the resources where. Help you think about this. Okay, do it.
Actually. Oh, yeah. So we have to use this to test the strength part too. Wow. Well, we can like do little.
You can build your little.
Have a life. Yeah.
We'll be able to test the change based on how it thinks the music.
Still works.
We just cover up. We're just eating dinner in a tent.
Yeah. Yeah. I know what I mean. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No.
If we do like, something like this. I can put 4. And then I'm It's enough that way to put that up. Yeah, yeah, cover like, so we can put it like this. Four would be like that. 4, 4, 4. So that would struggle. Yeah. Yeah, someone's fine, but not right.
Oh. Yeah, you guys might need to fix it.
Thank you.
You're feeling confident that our hold those back and.
I don't know.
Can't like the wall. Like that, right? So I think what we should do first is like paper rounding, so we don't fall apart.
Okay.
So these are 4.
Oh,
These
really?
are
Oh, yeah, we have it.
Yeah. So these have more right here than we have
Here, I'll
over
try
here.
it.
Yeah. And I think,
Or we can, if you wanna adjust them. Yeah, I mean, this tape is removable. Yeah. If you just wanna leave it
Yeah.
alone, you think they need to adjust them?
or you could maybe put another one on. Yeah.
Like this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, every quarter.
Yeah. That way it's not.
Wait, what?
So like hold the table to the middle and then put the table, and then you put like this stuff like. You see the? Oh, yeah, or we could like.
The other team has.
Okay. No, just- I don't know.
How do you? Like set up so, like flat. Yeah. So we'll turn on it, let's put this there. Or we'll make it strong, yeah. The slide. Just take that.
It was. That's a reason too.
I don't know. But
No, but I'm saying, what do you guys think? Like,
let's go for this. Not-
what if it's only two? Is that? But you said, yeah, the flats at
The
the
flat,
bottom.
but then like put. So we can like do like the flat, what you said, and then put this, and like, that's what doesn't like
Yeah.
go down. Oh, they're already.
Just candid workshops, you know, building tables.
That's a view.
I didn't. Mandy, she's awesome. Yeah. But you, I mean, you have to do like 50 hours.
It has to be like kind of an odd shape.
Yeah, like a triangle,
Yeah.
like a triangle, yeah. You could just.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Well, no, yeah, it's up to us. That part, I know. I'm not sure if they will. It's really stable.
And then like adding like this, but it's really hard to get to know.
Okay. Okay, then
Um,
yeah, we can like kind of make it an odd shape like this, right? Yeah.
Or maybe even the top is still square, but the bottom is like triangle. Or look at how.
Yeah. You might ask though, if you want to try to take it.
Yeah.
These were putting them together. So, yeah, what do you think? We can put it together and then.
How's it going here? Are you ready to test your table yet?
Not yet. So right now we have 6 30 minutes worth, doubling. Um, So we need, 2 more.
Yeah, so mine is like more down.
So we're gonna double them? There's 2 here, there's 2 there, there's 1, yeah, so 3. Oh, after. Yeah. One. Yeah, so this is, and then we just need 1 more of those. Mhm.
All right, I would start testing your table.
Okay.
What's that? What's it called? That's crazy.
I found the.
Oh, yeah.
I think so. Or you can do the bottom, like the bottom part too, or just I think it's the both ways for the arrow. So we put the both. Yeah. We're gonna be strong enough to be a part. Maybe. Just because the cylinder part is not. Yeah. We need one. Yeah, we have one. I'm gonna take this table together.
Now we have 22 on. All right, did you test your table out yet? You're confident? I like that. I like that.
Yes.
All right, think about your like standard alignment too as you're wrapping up. Look at this. So if we took this guy outside, he won't turn. Are you gonna take your, who's gonna test that out? Who wants to bring it home? No one wants to hang out?
I don't know how much you put in. How you put it in? So how many you have? I have two one numbers. And one, this I pushed it in.
Oh, we're just gonna make it like harder?
That one was steaming, so yeah, I had to push it in it.
And I'm like, yeah, they're gonna fall. Right, we have our shade. Maybe the next challenge for the shade structure is, will it withstand the wind? My favorite. Good. This team is serious business. The table. Making it strong. That's like one of that. What's our strategy here? What's up? Oh, okay. Hello. It's always Monday. Always Monday. That would have been. Okay, so, yeah, so with it, right, so like.
Okay. I think I got enough to fold. Well, the devil, anyway, and then they have maybe like, let's try like, I don't wanna fall over.
We're thinking about back of time. I mean.
Yeah,
Feeling confident?
yeah.
Oh, this is sturdy. Inside, this team is the only team that will really test their. Yeah, maybe next week, we'll bring like a lamp. Yeah. To like test out all. I would do that like an outdoor class. Maybe, or like a window.
Yeah.
We could.
So let's make a time. Okay, we can do one, yeah, two, and one. Yeah. Okay. We can do, yeah.
All right. The moment of truth.
Well, so, a preview. I think, yeah, three was good. And then.
So yeah.
Should I take it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, you guys can start thinking about this piece a little bit, right? So again, thinking about what is this actually teach us? What does this actually teach our students? And so we would take these web to hold it.
Oh.
Standard. Here we have. Not true back with design today, but hopefully you all get it.
Here, how about you help me? I'll cut some paper, you guys. Okay. Oh, yeah, right here.
How's that table coming along?
Almost all.
How much tape? We should weigh this thing. We should weigh this table.
I don't think, I'll be fine. Once it, or maybe this one. Okay.
All right, let's see it. It's ready. It's ready. That's okay. That's okay. We can have one hold it.
See.
Hold on, I'll take care of your. Couple of you guys in there. Okay, you did it. You did it. Work. You did it. Take your time with
I thought that like, I thought so too. I'm like, oh, it looks a little small.
our shade
You could just fold this
structure
and then put it at the bottom.
Yes, this one. Is this the last one I made?
Yeah, the other-
Yeah.
All right, good job. All right, so you then you can you can use your what's that?
There are two others.
Right, so we can take, hopefully you have seen now that you can take anything your students throw at you, right? In a class, any idea, work with it, right? You can figure it out. And with some thought and right intentional teaching, we can go back and we can then think about alignment and build the teacher part of it, right? So really think about how the activity aligns, or if we're using backward design and we're starting to think, right, have this first and we're doing this with our students, right, we're pulling out some of these ideas and thinking about the standards and the objectives and then really building the activities around those. Obviously, for our purposes today, we wanted to have activities set up for you, so we didn't use true backward design, but hopefully you can get that. And so again, looking at this, right, so you have each of these domains. You have a row or a column that is for standards, for learning objectives, for the activities themselves. There are obviously some populated things in here, and there's some that are you can add to, right? The social domain is not just the social studies, right? But again, if you're teaching K-2, you're really teaching a content area, so right, you should be really thinking about English language arts, the social sciences, science, to include STEM, and math, right? Those will be your primary content areas that you're teaching in K-2 classroom. In preschool, you'll teach lots of different things. Look different. Any questions about this stuff? Does it make sense? Is it helpful for thinking about the unit plan? How to think in a more integrated way? How are we feeling about that? Yeah. You can use this tool to help you plan. just make a copy of it and drive. Any questions? That we've all faded away, so. Yeah, so if you're doing that, yeah, so for the cognitive domain or for, yeah, I mean, for any domain that's gonna have like potentially multiple standards and objectives, you don't necessarily have to have that. When you're planning a unit though, right, you're gonna have there'll be multiple lessons, right? I mean, if you just look at like CPS's Skyline curriculum, you go on there, you can see that like those units have dozens, right, of lessons. But you obviously don't have to do that. In this class, you don't have to plan that many. But yeah, you could pick an activity. You could have a math activity as the cognitive. Yeah. Any other questions? Who wants to take the solar oven to test? Who's testing the solar oven? Maybe I'll just like leave it in my office. Though, do you think this is like a fire hazard? Should I not leave it by the window? Like then on Wednesday when I come back to my office, maybe I'll have some smushy s'mores. Maybe I'll just take it home and I'll my son test it out, and then I'll do a video. Sure. All right. Well, our table works, so nice job. We have a solid table for our extended guest list. We think we have a shade structure that works. We have to test that out still too. So that one I could definitely test out in my office. We'll see if it's those beads. So I don't know if you all heard, but I bought these UV beads on Amazon. And so when they're exposed to sunlight, they'll change color. So we'll be able to know how shady our structure is based on. Maybe we need to think about a movable awning, right? Follow the sun. Anyway, all right. So great. Hopefully this was fun and helpful in thinking about unit planning and curriculum domains. We will continue to talk about curriculum domains next week. So we'll add 2 more and we'll talk a little bit more about cognitive and language. So keep this, like your little documents handy. So we're gonna use those and we'll keep using the shared doc that's on the drive. Again, send me your lesson plans if your sample, like your practice ones, if you want me to look at them before your key assessments are due week 13. So I'm happy to look at them for review. Or maybe, yeah, like I said, we can maybe find some time in a class coming up to do some peer review and peer sharing of your lesson plans, maybe the ones you want to hand in too. So we'll do that. Micro teaching, co-teaching lessons are due. We're going to do those week 11. November 4th, which CPS has no school that day, so my son actually might be here with me. So you all can have a student. He's a 4th grader, but you know, play along. See. Okay. Any questions, thoughts? Good. Okay, cool. Next week we'll have another guest. Someone else is going to observe. Lots of people observe my classes still. So Dr. Mushi will be. Oh, she's coming to observe. They're observing me. Yeah, they're not observing. I have to get observed every year until I get tenure, which is more years. So. All right, cool. We'll get out of here. I'll see you next week. And we'll do some more planning for our dinner party. So yeah, if you have leftover supplies or things, you can bring them up here and I'll take all the little our prototypes in my office. Oh, yeah, you have the domain, Josh, so I'll take it. It's this beautiful oven. Nice. Thank you. Right, right. Okay. Great. Okay. Yeah, so we can do, like, you could just bring the leaves and then just. That, wow, right. It's nice. But yeah, that sounds nice. Yeah, face the leaves. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, we can modify, right, like, maybe we just have like. There's two things that, two people volunteer. You can think about how you. You know. Yes. Yeah, good question. I will also provide better. I think that's probably something people are thinking.
Oh, I don't have a partner.
Okay. You know, all right, here we go. Okay, great.
Oh, yeah, sure. And then I don't know when to start working on it. If you want to. Let's do in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. We can do little by little. Yeah, this is my number. You know what, I'm just gonna call it, that way.
And I just, when I started, I'll like text.